Where's my Menelik Savage? Welcome to episode 1 of Rat Shack. This is basically a little bit of a preview of an episode of what will come, probably a series maybe, I have no clue. But this is my little shack, my little garage. My little garage with my S10, which I'm currently working on right now because, well, it was ran driving, keyword was. It is LSX swapped, has a T5, which is now blown up because, well, me, the owner of this car, basically decided to say, hey, how much transmission? Send it! And, well, it sent itself back to me. But it still runs and drives. But, however, though, it binds up somewhere inside the transmission. I'm thinking input shaft bearing is shot. It does go forward and backwards, but it does bind pretty bad, to the point where I deem it unsafe to drive. So, basically, the plan is to now basically swap transmissions out with a spare one I have, sitting way in the back over there, somewhere around there. You don't see it from here, obviously, but basically I'm going to take that transmission and rebuild it and basically put stronger parts in it, like, say, the countershaft cluster and the 3 to 4 shift keys with steel solid billet steel ones, basically, which I've ordered through eBay. And it's going to cost me probably $350-$400 for the entire whole shazazz. But today I am basically doing brake drums in the rear because, well, the previous owner never took care of this car, never. And I basically bought it on cheap. I can see why now. It needed brake lines in the rear and basically new brakes and drums in the rear. And they work spectacularly great now. Thank you, TRQ, for the kit on hardware and everything. New drums, pads, and hardware, all springs behind here. And I now have an e-brake again, so I can actually park my car anywhere without putting it in gear and leaving it to, yeah. Anyway, basically, here's the old pads. Yeah. Junk. Gone. Look at this. Look at that. 189,000 miles. Factory pads. This is nothing. This is actually a part that's going to use, but didn't end up using, so. And the original drums, which do not feel very great at all. So basically, it's got new drums, both sides, new pads, both sides, new springs overall, both sides. So, basically that was done last year. This is being done today. And basically the game plan for the front brakes now is to basically do wheel bearings, wheel lid calipers, and wheel lid pads up front, because the stopping power of this thing wasn't too great from the very beginning. So I'm going to basically do for all 4 corners of the brakes. Well, so far 2 of the corners have been done. Now it's just down to basically the front, which I'm a little bit sketched out about because, well, basically if you look underneath here, the frame is kind of shady. Yeah, I know. I'm crazy to drive this thing like this, but it's patched up kind of. It needs to be patched the rest of the way. This thing does run and drive pretty good, pretty smooth. Ball joints, tie rods I didn't touch because they weren't showing symptoms of failure, nor any symptoms being worn out. So I left them on there. I do have new ball joints and tie rods, inner and outers, just in case if it comes down to replacing them or something. But anyway, though, so far it's been pretty good. So, however, though, the rear axle does like to leak a little bit. The transmission, the T5, which is currently, this is a broken one inside. Yes, the broken T5, yes, I did measure the pinion angle after the V8 swap, and it was within spec, so, it's not dry shaft, it's not rear end, it's definitely transmission. Actually, if I do this now, you can see the dry shaft turning, right now to neutral, and it locks up. Why it's locking up? I don't know why. But basically, it's not supposed to lock up. It's in neutral. It's supposed to spin freely. And it's locking up again. I don't know why. And there we go. Yep, locked up. Go backwards. Go forward again. There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're going somewhere. And it locks up just like that. That's not supposed to happen. So basically, that means there's something in the T5 binding up. I don't know what happened. But basically, here's the story. I was on the highway, running through gears first, second, third, fourth, and going and shifting at like 3,500 RPM in the tachometer, which is very respectable for a little T5 behind an LS engine. And going to fifth, I released the clutch, and that's when all hell broke loose. It was just off. It basically sounded like rocks in a tumbler. And it was bad. And I got it in fourth, and kept on going, and it started to vibrate. So something's really broken inside the transmission. So basically, the game plan is to basically rebuild it very carefully. Not this one, but the spare one, because spare one actually has more, like 30,000 miles more than this one. And I'm guaranteeing that the bearings and synchros are probably on their way out. So basically, it's best to take it apart, rebuild it, freshen it up with some nicer parts, and some upgrades while I'm in there too. As much as I love a G-force transmission, that's a little bit pricey for me, and I'm rolling a budget right now, and basically I mean budget. I mean, I bought TRQ, which is like $80 for the, it's like $90 for just for drums and the pads for both sides, which is very nice. And I've used TRQ in the past, so I can say good things about them. But basically, yes, there's no breakdown build video. It's not a breakdown build video just yet. So yeah, basically, 20-gallon fuel cell, stripped interior with driver and passenger seat, 5-point harness on my side, and passenger side has a 6-point harness, and all full kill switches and autometer gauges. Basically, this is a quick rundown of shit. Running Aero 15-inch tires, the Chevy bolt pattern. Yeah, and basically this is it's a shit show right now. I gotta get the front jacked up and actually get the front calipers off, pads, rotors, and the wheel bearings. Front wheel bearings are also gonna be done. I actually have brand new ones I ordered through eBay again. A lot of the shit you see comes from eBay. I swear, if eBay sponsors me, I'll give them a shout out. That'd be funny. Like eBay Motors says, "Hey Max, we want to sponsor you." That'd be sweet. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but you never know. Basically, we have auto parts. I've actually bought a release bearing because I ended up using a direct throw-up bearing. Again, it came off eBay. And this is a wheel bearing. Yeah, wheel bearing. All new wheel seals up front. So basically, it's got both sides, inner and outer wheel bearing. I do have new rotors, which is probably somewhere in here or underneath the car. I have no clue. It's just a shit show. Basically, the story is how it broke down. It was literally this past weekend, Saturday. I made it to a car show, come back home. That's what going to highway. That's when it happened. So, and that's why it's being thrown back into the garage for love, lots of love. I mean, this is my first car, actually. I'll be honest with you guys. This is actually my first car. And I'm not saying to the junkyard, period, at all. I don't give a shit if it's been a fucking rollover. I'm still going to keep it and fix it. Because I'm a master mechanic. I'm actually a certified auto collision technician. I went to college for 2 years to learn that shit for auto collision technician. So I know how to properly repair a frame. I know how to properly raise a body off a car. It's all basically a pain in the ass, though. I don't have that kind of money or time or the equipment. So basically, just hear me out. I'm doing what I can. And I actually taught myself about like engines, transmissions, rear ends. I taught all my stuff throughout the years, going through also with college. So basically, I can fix a lot of shit on a car, basically from bodywork to mechanical. So I'm very confident in myself, which is good. That's like the first step of like learning. Of doing stuff. Have confidence in yourself. And I'm going to drop the rear axle down or drop the rear tires back on the ground because there's no reason to keep on jack stands. I'm going to retorque my wheels down and probably go home because, well, it's kind of getting late. And probably attack the front wheels maybe later. So yeah. Because I got to look at how to assemble rotors, because I need, plus I need grease on top of it. I need grease. Is this leaking? Oh my god, it's not leaking. It's leak free? Wow, I'm surprised. Thank you, eBay. It's locked? Why did I lock the passenger door? Ugh. I basically got 2 engine hoists. This I actually used for the LS engine swap. Don't recommend, it's a 1-ton. And then I bought a 2-ton for my boss, which is not a foldable shop crane, but for $75, I couldn't pass it up. That was a steal for that 2-ton engine hoist. And it works great too. I have yet to use it, but it's great to have a 2-ton engine hoist because there's longer arms and everything. So yes, 1 ton I believe to like small cars and not trucks that require, you know, yeah. I basically pulled the engine transmission out of the hood or the engine bay and put the engine in, transmission going from the bottom, and you can actually see there's T5 right there. Still runs great though. Still runs great except for the transmission noise. That's just it's an awful. It's not engine. I can tell you that much. If it was engine, it would be making a hell of a lot more funnier sounds engine bay than in the bell housing area. So yeah, I'm pretty damn sure the transmission was shot when I put it in at the very beginning, but you never know what happens. Whoops. Oh man, I paid like $300 for these wheels. They're already being freaking rusty, man. Oh shit. That's how it starts. Paint get rubs off, and then it corrodes to the wheel. Like, oh, I can't get the wheel off. Getting the wheels off this thing was a pain in the ass. Right from the very beginning, the front ones were very stubborn, but I eventually got them. God dang. But yeah, there is a whole lot of stuff to do. Well, not a whole lot of stuff to do. But basically, the majority of the work has been done already. Basically, right now is more like fixing small stuff like a coolant leak on the radiator. It's very small. Like drum brakes. You know, brakes in the 4 corners. That's it's fairly minor stuff, really. I mean, the transmission swap, that's not a big deal because basically it'll probably take us about 2 hours at best to basically swap out transmissions. That's like with the junk one out and then the good one in that's rebuilt. So basically that's the game plan here. I have no idea when it's gonna happen, but chances are it's be next year in like springtime. But this has been a great year so far. I mean, I went from no running motor to running engine to drivable car this year. So basically a lot of progress has been made. That's something that I can be proud of and say, yes, I did this year. So yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug though, people. It really is a real thing. It is a real thing. I have so much spare parts. Like literally, I have spare holder intakes, spare hoses, spare intake manifolds, for Christ's sakes, spare wheels, spare tires. I am a carcane addict. I need help. I even have spare roll cage tubing. What's wrong with me? Oh shit! I even bought a spare. This is actually a spare pressure regulator installed. Original was an eBay one. I got ripped off of that. I got ripped off of that one. It was at a jigs gauge. I thought, oh, it's jigs. No, it's a cheap eBay one. Bought air motive used off eBay, leak free. Love it. So it is a turnstile, and this is the vent hose because gasoline looks a slosh, and I need to go somewhere safe, so it doesn't offer a fire hazard, I should say. Even though there's a fire extinguisher inside the cab, you never know. So, but I think this will be it for today's Rat Shack episode. Well, it's a preview of what's to come. Probably I'll show you the video. Probably. Oh shit! Phone dying. Phone's dying. Bye, everybody.